Our countdown to first pitch in the Great American Conference concludes today, and our stop is Magnolia. We get to visit with the head baseball coach for the Southern Arkansas Mule Riders, Coach Justin Pettigrew. Coach, your team picked as the preseason favorite in the GAC, and rightfully so, coming off a great season, which we could say that just about every year for Southern Arkansas, but last year, no different, 30-16. Got the share of the regular season championship as well as runner-up in the GAC tournament. Played into the regional tournament as well, and pretty good run, falling a little bit short in the regional championship, but also pretty good Central Missouri team, which went ahead and played for the national championship as well. That having been said, Coach, it's been a good season for the coaches to say, okay, this should be the number one team again this year. Talk about what happened last year, bring us up to where we are now.
Thanks for having me, first of all, Joey, and thanks for everything that you do for the GAC. Last year was a special year for us. We had a great group of guys that, bought in on a daily basis of making sure that, they respected the program and the game the way that it needed to be done. Went out and had a lot of success. Like you said, regular season, had a chance to take that one, on our own the last day, but didn't get it done at Northwestern. Those guys just outslugged us in the last game, so we had to share that thing with Arkansas Tech, and then we went into, like you said, conference tournament, faced a hot Henderson State team. They beat us in the first game, and we really didn't know what our future was going to look like heading into the regionals. I actually sent the guys home for a couple of days, let them kind of decompress and get away from baseball for a little while, and then luckily, kind of everything played out the way it needed to for the GAC to end up with 3 teams, and we were fortunate to get in. And then once we, were announced that we were in, I felt like it was almost like our team had a new life, new energy, and a greater appreciation for postseason baseball, to be honest with you. And then we went up and, to Central Missouri and played at a great park, and played probably our best baseball, especially on the pitching side of it. Probably played our best baseball in the regionals, and that's what you always want to try to do, is make sure you're playing your best when it matters the most. And we ran into a buzzsaw, Central Missouri. We played them in the winners bracket game, and they got the best of us 4-2. And then we turned around and we had to play back through the losers bracket to get to them, and had to beat them twice. And they got the best of us and went on to the World Series.
Well, Coach, and by the way, that season finale last year, I had to check what I was seeing on the computer to make sure it wasn't a typo. You guys were putting up runs left and right, but that's something you all can do. You got good bats, also have a very good pitching staff as well. Let's talk about some of those returning players. Nearly 30 players returning from last season's team, which again lends to what people would think, hey, this could be a preseason favorite in the GAC this year, coming off of last year's performance and what you all did. Get things underway here. Brett McGee, and first team all GAC catcher, 14 home runs, 44 RBI. And I think that's a good place to start for your position players.
Yeah, having Brett back is huge for us. He was in our lineup in 19 and was having a historic year in 2020 before we got shut down, and then carried over the momentum that he built in 2020 into 2021, and had a great campaign for us. We look for him to come back and do big things again this year in 2022. Having him in the middle of our lineup is nice because he's not just a slugger. He's a high on base percentage guy. He works counts. His leadership, in the dugout and the weight room and on the field and things like that is what makes him a special player. So we're definitely glad to have him back behind the plate and hitting in the middle of the order for us again.
Coach, talk about a couple of more of those players too, because you have so many that are a threat at any point in time, and it's always enjoyable. It's fun to get to watch the Mule Riders play because you never know, who's going to be the one that day.
Yeah, and that's like you said, you never know who it's going to be that day, and that's what we all look for as coaches, is who's going to be the guy that takes it over for that day. And we feel like we've got a good group coming back. We've got mainstays like Riley Orr at shortstop that has been really good defensively for us, and his offense has come around from his freshman year in 2018 to be a good contributor for us on the offensive side. We've got, Tucker Burton coming back that played a little right field DH for us, has a lot of power from the left side, that gives us, a definite bat that teams will have to worry about. Ty Manning was our starting center fielder, had a really good 2020 year, struggled a little last year, but he's really made a huge jump this fall, and we look for big things for him. And defensively, he's about as good as it gets out there in center field. So I like having him run those plays down to save some runs for us. And then we got Jacob Martinez that was in the lineup last year and the year before as well, hitting in the middle of our order. He's back. So looking at things like that, we feel pretty good knowing that we have 4 or 5 guys coming back from our lineup last year that were able to have success and play in these big games.
We're speaking now with Justin Pettigrew, who in his 6th season leading Southern Arkansas has a team that's picked as the preseason favorite in the Great American Conference. And also you get some national recognition as well. Collegiate Baseball Newspaper has you all 5th in the country coming into 22, 1st in the Central region. We were talking about your position players. You have a pitching staff as well. And these are another junior. We mentioned McGee, a junior, another junior, and Jacob Womack coming in, a first-team All-GAC performer last year as well, 8-2 overall in 16 appearances, and he's someone that should be a part of a pretty solid pitching staff again.
Yeah, Jacob did a good job of coming back off of an arm injury from junior college, and we kind of took it easy on him in 2020, kind of just paced him a little bit. We thought he was going to be a really big piece for us, but the injury in junior college kind of set him back a little. He was able to fill a small role in 2020, and then we got to see what he could really do for us last season. We started out, he was in the bullpen starting out, but he just kept getting better and better and stronger and stronger. We wanted to make sure that we had him strong at the end of the year. And like you said, going into conference and regular season and then postseason, ended up with 8 wins for us last year. And just every time we flipped him the ball, we felt like we were going to, have him go deep into a game. He's able to mix multiple pitches at any count, any time in the game, whatever situation it is. Pressure really doesn't get to him, a whole lot. And that's something that you want from somebody that's going to anchor your staff. And we look forward to seeing him do his thing again this year.
Coach, you get things underway in Hot Springs and then travel to Arkadelphia, some festivals there before you have the GAC schedule, which starts with Northwestern. Interestingly enough, it's a good place to start. Pick up just pretty much where you left off last year in the regular season, and then on the road at Southwestern the weekend after that. But should be fun to get things underway in Hot Springs.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's my hometown. I was born and raised in Hot Springs and went to Lake Hamilton High School. So growing up there and seeing the field when I was little, working into high school and getting a chance to play, against Hot Springs and Hot Springs Lakeside out there on the old field, and just seeing the transformation, to what is built out there now. Man, it's amazing. The history, of baseball in Hot Springs is strong, and we're really looking forward to going back and hopefully we put a good product on the field for them.
Well, Coach, I have no doubt that you all will put a good product on the field. What you have done and carried over through the years for what Southern Arkansas has done as a member of the Great American Conference, representing the GAC well again in the postseason in 2021 and in 2022, the preseason favorite according to the coaches in the league. Coach Justin Pettigrew, success to you and to the Mule Riders this season. Thank you so much for taking time with us as we conclude our countdown to first pitch here in the GAC.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, Joey.